So let's talk about inspiration. I like to surround myself with all sorts of pretty things that kind of get me excited and inspired. So my studio is kind of filled up with things that I've collected along the way from flea markets and antique shops. I have a really great collection of books that I like to look at, and it just kind of gets my head thinking in different ways. I've always collected fabrics and old wallpapers, and I take lots and lots of pictures just on my phone when I'm out and about walking around or if I go camping. So that I kind of have this like catalog of imagery that I can refer back to whenever I'm starting a new collection. So in terms of choosing a collection, I think it's a good idea to choose something that kind of instantly gets you excited. So if you start thinking about it and your head is already like kind of swimming with ideas for different kinds of prints and motifs, then that's going to be a great collection for you to work on it. You want it to be kind of broad enough that you have all of those ideas, but kind of narrow enough that it's still going to seem cohesive and tied together. So it's kind of about finding that little sweet spot. So if I were to use an example of, say, like a vintage kitchen. So maybe, I can think of, beautiful pots and pans and dishes and utensils and all sorts of beautiful ingredients like maybe herbs and spices or little teacups. Like if you just start thinking about it and your ideas just kind of come to you instantly, that's probably going to be a good basis for building your collection. And once you have that idea, I think it's a really good idea to work all of that into a mood board. And a mood board is kind of just like a little visual touch point for you so that you have everything at your fingertips. So whenever I build a mood board, I throw in all of the images that are really inspiring me around that theme. I start to integrate keywords as well so that, like just kind of keeps my head in that game. And I like to also kind of choose like a rough, like working title or mood or something. So for this collection that we're developing for this class, I'm going for a vintage floral kind of look, and I've got a mood board with references to William Morris and Old Liberty prints, referencing certain textures or motifs. I was kind of thinking about simpler days whenever we all had so much time and we were like frolicking through the meadows, and I was also thinking about Timotei commercials. All these things kind of like were culminating in my head and kind of creating like a vision that I want to carry through in this collection. So it's great to have this mood board on hand so that anytime I jump in to do new prints for the collection, I just have to look at it and I'm instantly kind of like got my head back in the game. And so it helps me kind of like avoid like a creative block. And yeah, it just like kind of gets my head in that game, and it allows me to kind of touch base with it and make sure that all the prints I'm developing are within that theme still. So yeah, now that we have a great mood board, we're ready to start drawing the motifs that are going to ultimately build out the prints in our collections.